Hi, this is Sizwe Ndlovu, the CTO at Pineapple, an insurtech in South Africa. You're listening to Insurtech Business Series podcast hosted by Damola and Fulumi. Keep it tuned here for the best in insurtech news in Africa and the world.
Welcome to the Insurtech Business Series podcast. I am Fulumi.
And I am Damola. And together, we host the most exciting podcast on insurance and insurtech related topics in Africa. Stay tuned. Welcome, Sizwe.
Yeah, thanks, Damola. And thanks for having me on your podcast. Really appreciate it. I'm really excited to speak to you about some of the things we do and I guess the insurtech industry in general.
Yeah, absolutely. We're super excited about that. Insurtech is a buzzword, right? But then it is it's something that we are quite passionate about, looking to see how the industry as a whole can leverage innovation, leverage technology in order to better serve African customers. So like we usually do, we like to meet our guests, right? So tell us a bit about yourself. Who is Sizwe?
Yeah, sure thing, man. I'm Sizwe Ndlovu. Yes, I'm from South Africa. I was born in KwaZulu-Natal and currently living in Johannesburg, working at Pineapple. I just found myself obviously in the insurance industry. I mean, prior to this, I was not in the insurance industry at all. In fact, I was I first started out, during varsity, I had like actual jobs while I was studying, just to, pay for life. So I was working at startups there as well, actually. And that was in Cape Town. And through a competition, I won an internship overseas, and I was living in Paris for a year. So I did an internship there. Worked as well in the tech space, but for an FMCG, a multinational sells wine and spirits. So I was in the liquor industry there for a little bit, but more on the tech side, international. It was really, really good exposure. Helped me really improve a lot of my skills. And then came back to South Africa, started freelancing a bit, and then after that I moved up here to Johannesburg, which is where I, upon arrival, found myself in the city where living with a lot of people who I studied with who are now in the finance industry. And that's the thing about Johannesburg. Everything that's, what makes the city are the finance companies, the finance and, banks, insurance companies, all those. So that's kind of the, Johannesburg being the economic hub. That's what really drives the city. So for me, I spent my whole career not in this industry. And I figured, let me enter it to try and learn about it. So let me do something along the lines of finance, even consulting. I was even open to consulting, which might even, because usually you consult and you end up working with one of these big, corporates, these banks or insurance companies to do consulting for them. So I figured, let me just try and get into this industry. And I was on a train once and I bumped into the co-founders of Pineapple and we had a conversation over there. And then that was around June, July of 2017. And then February 2018, I started at Pineapple. And I've been there since and really enjoying it, really enjoying the stuff we're doing for the insurance industry.
Well, that's very interesting, actually. Talking about working and schooling and then, coming to a new city, and then bumping into the co-founder of Pineapple. I mean, no background in insurance, right? Coming into the finance space, and then you are, part of a company that is, we'll definitely go on to what Pineapple is doing, but you're part of something very interesting. in terms of your journey so far, right? From hustling and things like that, going abroad and then coming back to South Africa. What values, have defined your career so far? I mean, it's quite interesting, your journey, because just like both of us, myself and Folumi, you don't have a background in insurance, right? But then you're doing something amazing in this space. So
look, I think a common theme in my life, something I learned from, early days, even since high school, actually, is just to never back down, I guess. This has just always been something, this is a mantra that I kind of live by, and I take it through everything that I do. Just being optimistic about everything and really understanding that, the outcome of a certain situation is solely dependent on myself. And, I need to just kind of go out and really, do what I need to do to make the change or the effect that I would want to see out there. So that's something that's definitely carried me through those hustling years, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that's also what was attractive about Pineapple, and joining the co-founders on this journey and everything that I've been through since joining there now. There's so much, when you look at the insurance industry, there's so much there that is that is just ripe for change, ripe for innovation, ripe for disruption. That's also another buzzword. But there's so much opportunity for change, so much opportunity for things to be done different, to be done better, especially, with the times changing and digital penetration just, like an all-time high and even going higher. Now we're living in the age where billionaires are going to space on their own rockets.
Yeah.
So I mean, really, there's so much.
I hope Pineapple will ensure the first African company to take people to space.
Man, that would be super crazy, man. That would definitely be crazy. But I definitely, those are the times we're living in right now. I still have to kind of, knock.
Yeah,
I have
absolutely.
to pinch myself, be like, okay, gosh, billionaires are sending themselves to space. Wow. But yeah, I think so. It's these things, as you can see, the world is changing, and with Pineapple, we kind of want to be at the forefront of the change of insurance. And for me, that was a very attractive thing, which had me, really aligned with the vision that the company is setting out to achieve. And also it aligned with what I wanted at the time, which was just to learn about the finance insurance industries, and how things operate on that end. So yeah, man, I think it was a very good opportunity, and I've been there since, and I'm still here, and I still plan on being here for quite awesome. A bit. So yeah.
Awesome, great. Follow me. We didn't bump into each other on the train, but we've been friends for some years.
Hey.
I think I might just book the next train and see what happens and see. That takes. So I know that you've talked about some of the amazing experience with Pineapple, but can you tell us a bit more about Pineapple and what you guys are trying to achieve? I won't lie to you, when I sort of checked Lemonade, right? I stumbled on Pineapple as well, and my organization, the organization I currently work for, is known as Tangerine. And then I went, what are these fruity business organization? I went to check Pineapple, and it's pretty awesome what you guys are doing. So I would just like to for you to tell our audience what Pineapple is about and what the mission is.
Absolutely. So yeah, in terms of what Pineapple is trying to achieve, so I like putting my own twist on this, which is not an official representation of the company, but at least the way I think about it. Essentially, Pineapple, we try to democratize insurance. If you look at the current trends of the world, and kind of which companies are kind of the biggest ones now and really what's helping them thrive. It's really along the lines of the sharing economy. And what they do, what these companies do is that they put the power back into the people's hands and give them, it empowers them and gives them that earning capacity. Basically, so if you look at things like Uber, where drivers can earn money through driving, and the user can become a driver themselves, and a user can just request a ride from any person and get delivered from A to B. You've also got Airbnb, where you as a homeowner, you can rent out your place and you can earn money from that as well. So essentially, when I look at Pineapple, I kind of see Pineapple along those same lines. And that's essentially what we're really trying to achieve. Just to speak more about the model of Pineapple and how we, what makes Pineapple different from a lot of other insurance companies and insurtechs out there. So essentially with Pineapple, what happens is when you open the app, you have an in-app Pineapple wallet, which essentially reflects, how your premium is behaving, or how it's being affected. And just to, I'm sure that your audience is quite aware of, currently how the insurance industry works, but I can just kind of give a brief one in there. What typically happens in insurance industries is that when you pay premium, it goes to the insurance company, and essentially the insurance company will collect all that premium, and it's held by the insurance company. So when a claim comes in, if let's say I want to claim from the company, you'll find now that what pays for that claim is actually the sum of everyone's premiums going in. But because that's the profit of the insurance company, insurance companies tend to be hesitant to pay out that claim, because that's the profit that they make. So that's the conflict of interest that your typical model would have in that regard. And what Pineapple does different is that we just take a fixed fee. We take 15% of a premium for our running costs as profit, and then another 15%, which is for reinsurance, to ensure that all claims on the platform are paid out, and then the remaining 70% goes back to you as the user. So that is what's in your Pineapple wallet, and you can essentially affect how much of that money you get to save by making friends with the right people, so that when people claim on the system, you only contribute to the claims of those who are closest to you as opposed to those who are not. So we're really trying to bring in that communal aspect of insurance back together to actually show just exactly what insurance really was meant to be, which is a beautiful thing to help people out in their time of need.
Okay, so would this be like, so I know that there's something that, South Africans always say about this Ubuntu. I hope I'm correct when it comes to togetherness or contributory efforts. Would that be something like that kind of model? Having to have people contribute to claims of people that are closest to them.
Hey, this is Brian Falchuk from Boston, Massachusetts in the United States of America. I want to give a shout out to the InsurTech Business Series, Falumi and Damola. What you are doing to help move the industry forward in the African continent, but also more broadly for the industry at large, is so incredibly important. As I think about the future of our industry, it's conversations like the ones you're having that will help us move forward. So congratulations on the success of the show. Please keep at it.
Yes, thank you for mentioning that. So yes, Ubuntu, you got it right. To my understanding, it's an African philosophy, but I know the word itself it's from my mother tongue, Zulu, which is basically, I am because you are. It's that emphasis on community, where essentially you help each other out. And I know this is it's a very close African tradition. It seems to be common through cultures throughout Africa. And we exercise this in many ways. I know in South Africa, one thing that's very popular are stokvels. I think to explain what a stokvel is, it's basically like a group. I'm not sure what the English term is, but it's like it's a group pool where everyone kind of puts money in and saves towards a goal. Okay. And people kind of do it together in groups. And, it's very popular in South Africa. I think the industry is it's worth over $1 billion. actually like north of that is, there's so many, it's a very common practice in South Africa. And essentially pineapple, to think about it, it really works like that. So you can think of essentially your community, you building your own stokvel, and a lot of people can pay into that, your premiums as you're paying are going into that stokvel. And when you are in a time of need, when something happens, to something that you hold close and dear, like, your laptop or your cell phone, you can dip into that pot, and essentially you're helping each other as a community.
Great. So you spoke about the kind of like ethos of Pineapple being on a mission to democratize insurance, and also bring back that community feel or mind that originally was there when insurance was being designed, right? So from the technology perspective, right? Because I've checked through Pineapple website and I'm seeing things like insure with a snap, right? How is this possible? Can you take us into how people experience Pineapple?
No, of course, man. So Pineapple is a mobile app, and with that, there's a lot of advantages that one can do, and kind of offer different experiences to the user in terms of anything they do, and obviously in our case, insuring your items. So, like you said, on Pineapple, it's as easy as insuring your things with a snap. So, what happens is you will essentially open your app. And there's a little camera button at the bottom, a plus item, which signifies to add a new item. Click that and it opens your camera. And you literally take a snap of what you want to insure. So you can take a picture of your laptop, of your computer, of your, anything. And what happens is once you've taken a picture of it, we have AI that'll have a look at the picture and classify what item it is that you've taken a picture of. So it'll ask you, is this a laptop? Is this a cell phone? Is this a watch? Anything? And you'll confirm yes or no. And upon the confirmation, if not, you can then select the right category because it'll put it in the appropriate category. You give it a name, you give it an estimated value, and then you'll get back your premium. And it'll tell you how much it'll cost per month. And if you're happy, add it to the basket, insert your payment details, and boom, you're covered instantly.
Wow. Wow. I can imagine that experience and comparing that to working to a regular, traditional insurance company.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
I totally agree. It seems like a more friendly app to use. Judging by the fact that it's API based. But maybe because I'm an insurance person, I would probably ask some of these questions. It's good to have insurance technology and also, a bit of insurance. So at the back of my mind here, I'm just trying to wonder how you guys are able to fine tune or identify some of those claims, for instance, to see the authenticity of this particular product. Have there been any basis for fraud at some point in time? How are you able to verify that? Because then again, of course, South Africa has a very huge database for checking some of these things. But how are you able to manage that bit?
That's a good question, Folumi. So essentially, look, from a high level, like taking this out back to the high level, the one thing that we do aim to do, and that's just the ethos of Pineapple, it's what we're trying to do, which is obviously make the insurance industry more friendly, more accessible, and more communal. And we rely on that communal aspect to essentially reduce fraud. So currently, fraud is a big thing in insurance for the very fact that people just don't trust insurance companies. And it's due to I think for the most part what I explained in the beginning, where there's that conflict of interest. The insurance companies just want to collect premium, but they don't want to pay out claims. From our point of view, we have no incentive to deny claims because we don't make money from that. And what we do is we encourage, people to connect and build communities so that if you attempt to do fraud, you are actually defrauding your own friends, your own community, which then puts the onus on you as the person. Like, I mean, you would want to do that a lot less to the people that you care about. I think there was even a survey, I think that the co-founders actually did for their research in the product development of Pineapple, and they asked people if they believe that their insurance premium actually, helps people out in the time of need, which is obviously in the time of claims. And like I don't know if it was everyone, but it was like a vast majority, almost like 80-90% people said no. So that speaks of the sentiment that people have towards insurance. And at Pineapple, we believe if we change that, we'll naturally see like a reduction in fraud, etc. So that is on the high level, from the high level. In terms of the tech itself, for the fact that we're able to collect a lot of alternative data from user behavior, etc., and obviously data that we've collected, historically, we can actually kind of see the behaviors of people. And, kind of do a more accurate risk assessment profile in terms of the actual person. And this is something we definitely do want to explore in the future to, almost, not unfairly prejudice a person because of, where they live or, the credit history of their family kind of being passed down to them or things like that. So there's a lot of that alternative data that we do rely on. And as it stands right now, I think when you insure your item with Pineapple, we do collect more information than, like your typical insurer, because at least now we're getting a picture, etc. Whereas I know normally you just tell the person, okay, I've got a phone and this is a serial number, etc., etc.
It's interesting that you talked about data. I mean, generally, the insurance industry is an industry of data, right? But what we are seeing is, I mean, many of those data, maybe insurance companies are not using them right. They're not getting insights from some of the data that they already have. They're not looking at alternative sources of data to help better understand their customers and the risk that they are taking up and things like that. And so that's why it's interesting, like what you guys are doing. The COVID-19 experience, did it validate some things that you're doing? Did it negate some things that you're doing? And maybe what are the thoughts that you have for the industry when it comes to even, behavioral data, like you said? I mean, we see things that Vitality is doing. It's quite interesting.
Yeah. No, definitely. Look, I think everyone was affected by COVID somehow, most negatively, and unfortunately so. The pandemic really did change a lot of things. And as you said, it forced a lot of people to go digital. And, a lot of companies had to kind of, switch and go that route. Fortunately for Pineapple, because we are digital first, we were kind of able to continue. I know at the beginning of the pandemic, a lot of people were very concerned about a lot of things. And essentially what, I guess we're very fortunate. We did definitely see an uptick in people, making use of our platform. I think this generally was because a lot of people were just concerned about the times, and kind of started reaching out and wanted to kind of protect the things that they care most about, and they look to platforms like Pineapple to do so. And we're very happy that we're actually able to help people during those kind of times. That's essentially what we're here for, and we definitely, very. Happy once again, like I say, that we can service people like our clients like that. So we did see an uptake in usage with COVID. Obviously, in South Africa, we do have like rolling lockdowns that happen like in between months when we have our peaks in the COVID cases, and obviously you can kind of see that as well in the numbers. So when the cases go up and the lockdown hits. It starts to be visible in the numbers, but I think generally we've just been seeing an uptake for the most part, and it's really exciting. It definitely does speak to what people are looking for during these times, and we're really glad that we can service them with that.
Oh, okay. I know you talked about COVID-19, and in recent times, there's been a bit of unrest because of the issues surrounding Jacob Zuma, right? Has this in any way also impacted Pineapple in terms of claims payment and other activities carried out by the organization?
Hi, everybody. My name is Bente, and I'm the founder and CEO of MTech, and we are based in Kenya. I am very passionate about the disruption of the insurtech space, and together with our model MTech, we are actually serving insurance platform and also white label solutions for the industry. Please keep on listening to InsurTech Business Series podcast, and I hope to see all of you at the conference in December.
When the country is going through things and there's a lot of macroeconomic factors that come into play, one can typically see that reflect in the numbers, and that just speaks to how people are generally feeling, the general sentiment about it. So the protests that happened about 2 weeks ago, involving the president's incarceration, that also kind of did reverberate around the country, and this obviously was seen within the figures and the numbers, and basically it was a really trying time for the country. A lot of people were very concerned. A lot of people were quite fearful, because a lot of these protests did get quite out of hand. So it was definitely visible. We could see a lot of that, being affected. But I think it's during those times that a lot of people, would typically want to, make sure that their things are covered and, that they kept safe and everything of theirs is protected. And, that's, once again, that's the service that Pineapple, wants to serve in these kind of times. And, I think it really helps the fact that we're so accessible. It's just an app that you download and you go for it. You don't need to get on phones, etc., which really assists us in terms of, serving the clients, our customers, with what they need during that time. But yeah, the macroeconomic events will always kind of show, and I think it's not even just something unique to Pineapple. I think that this kind of reverberates across all businesses. I know it was quite a tough time for a lot of companies. 2 weeks ago during the peak of the protests. But they definitely do seem to have calmed down right now, and things are definitely picking up.
Okay, so I think I can actually understand, because we've literally had a kind of issue here. 2020, when we had the NSAS protests in Nigeria. So
Yes.
it's a bit understandable. But again, has this sort of increased claims? Because I've seen that there's been a lot of property damages and a lot of destruction of policy holders. Insured policy holders. Should I say properties as well? Yes. So how has the claim experience been, and how are you managing the turnaround time at Pineapple?
Yes, absolutely. The claims definitely have picked up. A lot of these claims that are coming through are more state claims. So we do offer that facility. The state insurance company is called Sasria here. And essentially, Sasria manages all these claims which result from riots and terrorism and things along those lines. So we have definitely seen we've definitely seen an uptake in those claims. But we are fortunate, our underwriters, Old Mutual, they really help us in terms of equipping and allocating enough resources and staff to manage that claims turnaround time. So, we are underwritten by them. They have a presence in Nigeria. I know that they do throughout Africa. They definitely have really assisted in, kind of aligning themselves with our ethos and helping people in their times of need and managing a lot of these claims, the turnaround times. They're actually quite good. I mean, yeah, this is something you'd naturally expect from any type of public demonstration of this nature.
Yeah. Can you maybe give us an idea of the landscape of the insurtech space specifically in South Africa? I mean, it would be interesting to hear about what exactly is going on in that space and how you are relating with regulation and insurers who have legacy systems and even customers who are demanding something new and different.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I also do have a vision of what the future might look like, and I'll definitely share it in my answer. So currently the insurtech space, I mean, I think we started seeing a real boom in it kind of when Pineapple started, publicly launched here. I think we launched around this time, like end of July. 3 years ago in 2018. And we've had a couple of insurtechs also come out here in South Africa as well. Some of them obviously have pivoted, others have continued, and basically there are quite a lot more insurtechs that are coming out lately. And the thing is that obviously these are all new companies, including us, and we essentially need to partner with established insurance companies, which, as you mentioned, have all the legacy systems, et cetera, but we make it work. But if you kind of, if you look at, let's say like 20 years ago, insurtechs really weren't there, but all these big players were still there, and they were doing everything that they were doing, that they're still doing now. And now you've got these insurtechs coming out now during this time. And if you ask me, probably like 20, 30 years later, these same insurtechs are going to become seriously big companies to the point where essentially they can operate and have their own insurance licenses with, with more modern technology, which is more adaptable to those times that will be obviously there in the future. And we don't know what's going to come after that. But yeah, I think if you look at the trend, I think your insurtechs are going to be the new, the new legacy systems of the future, to put it like that. But yeah, that's if you ask me, that's where I believe we're going, in that direction. And I think Pineapple is well seated in the front seat over there to make that happen.
Great. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that as well. But from kind of like because when you talk about insurtech, is technology coming to the insurance space to help improve how people experience and buy insurance, right? I mean, that's how I would define insurtech. From that tech perspective, I mean, what technologies do you think that insurance companies or even the insurance industry in Africa be focusing on to see how we can advance? There are new realities, post-COVID realities. There is an African Free Trade Agreement reality. There's reality of improving penetration. There's reality of serving underserved or uninsured customers, and things like that.
Absolutely. Yes. From a technology perspective, I think that the advent of insurtechs will definitely make insurance significantly more accessible. And we're even seeing it now in our own business. We're able to now get cover for people who ordinarily wouldn't have any access to insurance. It's less intimidating now. It's just like there's no one who's going to ask you a bunch of questions which you might feel scared to answer or anything.
Yeah.
You just do it in your own time, wherever you are, wherever you can. And as I mentioned earlier, the collection of alternative data as well means that we can actually assess your risk profile uniquely, individually, because especially in countries like South Africa, people are prejudiced based on, their historical circumstances, which is very unfair. I mean, you don't want to, if you are a good risk, you're a very responsible person, but you live in an area where, like people are rowdy, etc. But you yourself are just a very responsible person, and you manage to be very responsible with the things you do. You shouldn't be prejudiced based off that. Or if you come from a family where your parents were not formally educated and never had access to opportunity, you shouldn't be prejudiced because of things like that. So with the advent and of your smartphones and apps, etc., collecting all that alternative data can really help us assess more accurate and better risk profiles for individuals, and achieve accessibility throughout the rest of the continent for insurance. As you said, insurance is quite low penetrated throughout the rest of Africa. I think with the advent of insurtechs, that's definitely going to change within the next 10 years.
I mean, honestly, South Africa is already doing good in that aspect. I think you guys are like the best out of all of the countries put together, even more than the US. So it's really impressive. But then again, we've often wondered how regulators play in that space. I've had a conversation with someone who was trying to launch an insurtech startup, and it was mostly killed because of overregulation of their products and services offerings. So how would you say, or what would you say about the regulator kickbacks or limitations in South Africa, especially as it relates to insurtech organizations there?
Yeah, absolutely. Because you are innovating, you're bringing in new technology. You're talking about AI. I mean, AI was not there 20 years ago, 30 years ago in the insurance industry. So regulators, I say, hey, what's this?
No, that is definitely true. And that's a really good question. Look, you've hit the nail on the head. The established companies, insurance companies that have been here for a very long time, definitely have a set of rules and regulations kind of that have been informed by obviously the state, and also by in large part themselves as well. And here comes this insurtech that's trying to change things and kind of disrupt everything. And that, I mean, look, I can also say we definitely are not absolved from that experience. We definitely have encountered that, definitely. I think it's very important. I know from our point of view, we really do want to work with all stakeholders, with the state, etc., the powers that be, to ensure that these things, kind of get over the line. I do believe, though, that these regulations will change in future, given the demand of the people. So if something is really in demand and requested by the user base, I think, and obviously it's large enough to the scale, to a national scale, I think it's definitely something which will catch the attention of the state and, kind of the powers that be, and essentially be able to make those amends, obviously, once we get to that point. And once the technology also develops further. So things like, the AI, the ability to assess people's risk, once that kind of starts maturing and getting, much better, then I think we will start to see a change in the regulation that governs the industry. And also when these insurtechs, like I said, give them 20, 30 years, they'll be their own insurance companies with their own insurance licenses, etc. At that point, obviously, they'll have more of a say, they'll have a seat at the table. And I think over there, the regulation will definitely be able to be influenced. But I know that from an insurtech point of view, from the Pineapple point of view, we're always fighting for the user first. And there are some kickbacks that could come from that. But I know that if it's just, kind of being solution orientated, coming with an optimistic mindset of trying to work through these things, I mean, a solution will always be found in that regard. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of things to definitely look out for. I mean, we're very optimistic about what technology and innovation can bring. We're not oblivious of the fact that insurance is a very regulated business that needs to do what is promised. Technology can be an enabler, just like you've explained about, technology helping insurance to get people to access this service more. So from a skills perspective, right? Because many of people who listen to us are insurance professionals as well, who are thinking, hey, how can we do things differently? How can we, from a skills perspective, insurance professionals, myself, for example, should I go and be learning code, or I know that you know how to speak a number of languages, that's minus computer languages, and things like that, right? But what do you think, insurance professionals should be doing, especially looking at the fact that the future of the insurance space is definitely going to involve a lot of technology, a lot of innovation?
Yeah. So I guess it depends what the individual wants for themselves. If you want to actually launch your own product, etc., you could definitely learn to code. Like, it would definitely help. Obviously, it's not the easiest thing to do, but it'll definitely help, and it'll help you deal with these outsourcing companies, that these dev houses basically, because you find that a lot of them they really try to take advantage of the clients due to their lack of knowledge of coding, etc. So it'll definitely help in that regard. But I think generally, just to kind of future-proof oneself, I think one should, just kind of keep up with the trends and understand, kind of the regulations, the rules, and, all those type of things happening within the insurance industry. Really keep up to date with, who's doing what, and the latest innovations, just so that you know exactly what's possible out there. And I think that'll also encourage you also just to also imagine what could be. And, I think from that point of view, that's when you yourself then start inventing the future and start doing, a lot of these things.
Yeah. And listen to InsurTech Business Series podcast.
Yes.
Yeah,
Indeed.
yeah, a whole lot. Absolutely a whole lot.
Indeed.
So you've talked about, different tech trends, and of course, again, with the way the world is changing, our environments are changing day by day, and a lot of people are looking to engage in more the use of technology, basically. And so we've heard that InsurTech would disrupt, some of the conventional insurance. But then again, do you really think that tech is the messiah for the insurance industry in Africa, especially in terms of engaging the financial exclusive community?
Yeah, look, I definitely believe so. I think obviously mixed with a number of factors, but I think the one primary thing with insurance and all the barriers that surround it is access. And I think technology plays a big role in terms of getting access to a lot of people, because if you have a smartphone and you have internet connectivity, well then you've got all the access you need. So I think definitely technology plays a big role in that regard. You can even see it in the fintechs now in Nigeria, they're booming, just due to tech. Yeah, so I agree. I definitely do think that tech will play an extremely important role in terms of getting access to insurance and insurance products to people across the continent.
That's quite interesting, and I totally agree with you. And so for Pineapple, right? What's the future like? What's next, right? You've started conquering Africa little by little. Are we going to be seeing the first African InsurTech unicorn? We have the fintech unicorn with Flutterwave. Is Pineapple the one? We want it to come from Nigeria, but hey, we're one Africa, so it's fine.
No, definitely. And we celebrate the successes, man. So yeah, Flutterwave doing extremely, extremely well. Yeah. Very inspiring. Yeah, man, look, that's the plan. We'll see how it goes. We definitely would like to be the InsurTech unicorn coming out. So we're definitely working towards that. So yeah, keep your eye out. Watch the space.
Sure. Absolutely. And there was an announcement recently?
Yes. So we just closed about $5 million USD in Series A funding. So yeah, we're just gonna be punting growth now. It's gonna really allow us to do a lot of exciting things for our customers.
Wow, that's amazing. Well done. Congrats.
No, thanks so much, man.
Congratulations. Okay, finally, I know that this has been an interesting conversation, but again, we usually allow our speakers to have the opportunity to connect with our audience. And so some of the people that are listening to this, how do you think is the best way to connect with you or some of the investors that might probably be interested in Pineapple?
Cool. So you can connect with me. I'm on LinkedIn. My name is Sizwe Ndlovu. You can just search me there. I've got an afro. You'll see a guy there with an afro. And then I'm also on Twitter, which is @Sizwe Ndlovu. It's SIZWENDLOVU. And then on Pineapple, you can get all the details on Pineapple at our website, which is pineapple.co.za. It's got our Twitter, our Facebook. It's got investor relation things. It's got information just about the company as a whole. Everything is there. So yeah, to any potential investors, please feel free to reach out.
Yeah.
And
gone in for the unicorn.
Yeah, man. Punching for that unicorn. And to the listeners, man, please feel free to check us out. And thank you to the two of you and to the podcast InsurTech Business Series. I really enjoyed this conversation.
Hi, and I hope you did enjoy that conversation. Quite interesting one. Do ensure that you continue to listen to our podcast and share as well with your colleagues and friends future episodes and even previous ones on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, on every platform that you get your podcasts.
Right, and also don't forget to join the conversation on all of our social media platforms. We might have comments, reviews, as well as questions. Please do share on our LinkedIn page, on our Twitter page, as well as remember to follow us.